she's here.
Danielle, can you run up?
Yes.
Trace, can you grab Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Thank you.
You can't. Sorry. Thank you. Spreadsheets.
So the meeting's called to order for the Waldo County Commissioners Court session dated March 5th at 9 a.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call. Commissioner Kelly present. Marker present.
Pinkham bed present.
All accounted for. Review and revise agenda. I want to make a couple of edits or modifications to the agenda. One is to add a moment of silence for those that were killed in action. And two, the second agenda item before public comment is to review the public comment participation policy. Any other edits or revise? None? Great.
Nope.
No. I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
First, we have a second. All those in favor? Motion carries. So I want to hold a moment of silence for those that were killed in action in the latest conflict, and say a prayer, a moment of silence also for those that are serving on active duty to make sure that they return home to their loved ones. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Waldo County Commissioners Public Comment and Participation Policy that's in front of you, and it's open for discussion. I think items 1 through 6 is items 1 through 5 is just restating, I think, what we've already know already. Item 6, recognition of speakers and sign up procedures. We would like people to sign up for the public comment period so that we ensure that their names get spelled appropriately and that they are recognized in the public comment and in the minutes. Number 7 is a change. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes public comment during the public comment period. And we're going to hold those to 3 minutes. I think an average person speaks about 150 words a minute. So 3 minutes at 450 words. That's basically a one-page document. If you look at Arial 10-point or whatever it is. I think this goes in, follows the same avenue as the state requirements when you testify before a committee. You can submit your they want statements before you testify, and usually I think it's limited to, a handful of pages. The committee does have the latitude to request more pages if it's an in-depth topic type of thing that must be submitted. But the gist of this is to limit 3 minutes per public comment per each speaker, and to make sure that everyone in the room has an opportunity to speak. And then if there's time allotted at the end, then the chair has some latitude to allow a second round of people that want to speak again, but it limits each time to 3 minutes. Number 8, they address their comments to the chair. Nothing has changed on that one. Number 9, conduct and decorum. The chair is responsible for maintaining order. Disruptive conduct, refusal to allow reasonable rules or behavior preventing continuation of the meeting is not permitted. It could be number 10, no action required on public comment. The commissioners are not required to comment on it. And part of the decorum is not to have discussion within the gallery between participants. all addressed to the chair, and it's up to the commissioners whether they want to make a public comment on that issue or any other issue. The chair has the authority to issue warnings and the speaker's time, call a recess, direct removal of a person whose conduct prevents continuation of the meeting. And I think that's the gist of the policy. Does anybody want to make any edits, comments?
No, this policy correlates no differently than a lot of your local select boards and your school boards. So, and it's just to give everybody an equal opportunity to speak.
I have only attended a couple of Commissioners Court sessions so far. Certainly we have had public comments that have ran a very long time in those. And I don't know if that has been standard for meetings before I got here, or if that was sort of
That's been fairly
rare
standard.
occasion. But something that has been my approach in municipal government has been, if you have a problem with one or two people, you know, to talk to those one or two people that are creative. If we're being honest, the need for this is really because
There's always a handful.
Yeah, there's a small group of people that use up a lot of that time. And then we find ourselves feeling sort of rushed to actually do the business that's on the agenda. There's a lot of back and forth that happens that isn't what we came here to do, because it's maybe not on topic with what's on the agenda. So I've experienced some of that frustration in my first couple of meetings, but also if you can do it by just being neighborly and talking to someone, that's always my preferred approach than creating new rules that apply to everyone if you have a specific problem. That said, to Tim's point, this is pretty standard. I want people to understand that their comments are welcome if they have, and this does account for that, but I think it's important for it to be on the record that please submit things to us in writing. That's on here. Written public comment may be submitted to the county administrator or designee by a stated deadline and shall be treated as public record to the extent applicable under FOA. That's really important. If somebody in the community wants to email me or any of us and have that read, I'm all for that. That will be considered in the work that we do. But I do think that limiting time so that people have a fair shake and that we can go about our business. You know, I felt we had a lot of work to do the last couple meetings, and it took a long time to get to it.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Any edits then?
I didn't love the 3 minutes, but it is standard.
It is standard, and I was always kind of taught this from my dad that it's easy to fire because usually someone knows that it's coming, and it's really hard to promote somebody because usually you have very many good candidates. If somebody was to come in here and they brought something that we truly didn't know, I would expect this board to show them the grace to go a 4th minute or a 5th minute. But usually we know that it's coming in before it comes in. And I think that 3 minutes to really nail down a point, especially if you have 2, 3, 4 people here to do it. Now you're talking about 15 minutes on a subject.
Yes.
So.
And if someone in the community has an issue that is current and relevant to work that needs to be done, they can request to have that added to one of our agendas, right?
That's right. They can go right on the agenda.
Yeah. So I think that that's an important thing for folks to know.
I think a great example, and I'll touch on it. It was actually your town neighboring Belfast. We had somebody go on the agenda that wanted to come talk to us. They were representing a Native American tribe, and he went into some great length about why he wanted our support as a commission, and we allotted him a good amount of time.
I remember that.
But that was a really good, important issue.
It was an in-depth issue too.
That you would not want to have on your public comment section. You would want to allot us time to them to give them the correct amount of allotted time to really designate that point.
So as we look to, it sounds like there's some consensus here in approving this policy. I just want it to be very clear to the folks that watch this meeting that the 3 minutes is not the only way to be heard, and that we welcome more.
There's other avenues.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is always a number for people to call us. And I encourage people to always reach out to their representatives.
Mhm.
So I'll make a motion that we approve this policy for the public comment and participation.
I have a first.
Hmm.
I have a second.
Mhm.
I have a second. Any more discussion?
One question.
Yes.
This only applies to Commissioners Court. This is
Correct.
not to public
Right.
hearings, for
That's right.
example,
This is-
where we
this
would
is
go
our-
on all night if we need to. in a public
If
hearing.
if it was an abatement hearing, it's more of an ongoing testimony and discussion, question and answer period based on the questions. And then there's certain rules that will apply to an abatement hearing. So in the case, if the opposing party cannot interrupt, it's a
Mm,
Right.
mhm.
kind of decorum in that. So the rules are a little bit different for an abatement hearing. And then budget hearing is governed by the chair of the budget committee.
Great.
Right.
Any more discussion? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Moving on, consent agenda. I'll accept a motion to accept the
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? I'm seeing no one in the gallery, so we'll move on. Department reports, finance.
At the last meeting, we talked about opioid funds. There's been no changes, no updates, no additional income at this time. Okay.
So that warrant's gonna be zero.
That warrant will be zero and I will present that to you shortly.
Okay.
We still have not paid any IT expenses. However, a new issue because of this has arisen. And at this point, it has impacted all department heads. And what happened was on 2/19, it was not approved to pay $2,833.84 in credit card fees. I tried to reach out to see if Alon would help us through this period of time.
Mhm.
However, to share with you how this credit card works, we have a community credit card. We do not have a regular credit card. And that means that department heads share the balance or the available funds that we have on that card. There is a 3% late fee on the balance due, if not paid, or $39, whichever one is greater. So right now we have $85.01 that have been accrued in interest fees. I've also learned that if the balance is not paid in full, every month that the cards do get shut off. So no department head at this point has access. We have a handful of department heads that actually use the credit card for recurring payments at this point. Well, it's not a lot. It's enough to have an impact. We have several departments that are planning trips in May out of state for conferences that they need to attend. They cannot make flight purchases. They cannot do hotel reservations, nor can they pay for training. Two departments at this point have lost discounted on the training. So there is an impact. The only way that we can go around this is number one is if that $2,833.83 is paid.
Can you say that amount one more time?
$2,833.83.
$2,833.83.
83.
To 83383. The other option is we can go on. Each department head can go get their own credit card for the county. However, that will impact them because we now need to use their social security number. And it will also affect their own credit scores as well.
I disagree on that.
Yeah, I think that would violate our credit card policy.
Yes.
Correct.
And if it's not paid in full in 90 days, the card entirely gets shut off.
I'm also-
We'll lose that
I'm
program.
also gonna make another point too, which is extremely important. When we go to hire people, we do background checks on what their financial standings are. It would be a poor practice for us to then turn around and allow our employees to go take out credit cards from the county.
Agreed.
And we've had one department head willing to use their own credit card to
No.
make purchases.
I'm also gonna throw out a point too, that it was brought up in my town when I was a selectman about somebody utilizing a quasi-government entity that was retaining benefits while using taxpayer money. So I'm also against this.
Do you have a recommendation of where this money could be pulled from to take care? This is relatively small. This isn't like the IT one.
At this point, my recommendation would just be pull it out of general fund and just pay for it that way at this time. There's no reserves.
So so the amount is 2,833.
83.
2833.83.
Okay. And this is for the Elan credit card.
It is.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we pay the Elan credit card for the amount of $2,833.83. And I want it to be earmarked again for budget committee for tomorrow, no different than our last meeting with IT, to show that due to the implications of not passing a budget, these are the repercussions and they will have side effects.
Any other commissioners' comments? We got a motion.
That's a motion.
That's a motion. I have a second?
Mhm.
I have a second. Any more discussion amongst the commissioners? Call a question. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
I know it's an extra thing, but can you just make sure that that gets into our papers for tomorrow so we can tell budget committee and remind them about that?
Sure.
Would you want me to add it to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe just an agenda item
I'll
that's like
contact Bob.
discussion of impacts of not
Okay.
passing a budget.
Of, put it as a note or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. we'll do that.
Thank you.
What else do you have?
I'm trying to think of what's on the agenda. Alright, okay, nope, that was it. 2 in 1.
And so where are we at though with the IT bill? It's just
It's on hold.
on hold
Just
until,
on hold until hopefully the budget committee
okay.
passes something at
Yeah.
this point.
And there's no threat of them turning the lights off on public safety for Waldo County?
Not right this second.
What is the amount of that bill again?
158,000 and change.
So as of right now, and this includes the credit card amount, I have outstanding in IT expenses of $189,420.91.
189,
189.
Yep.
420.91.
420, and that's including 2,000.
That is.
And
included.
153 of that is Spillman. And then
Yes.
there was a large expense in there that was a disputed payment from 2019 that we believe we paid, and they say they have no evidence that we paid it. Is that correct?
We can't find evidence that it was
We
paid
can't find
either.
evidence.
But
Okay.
they came, that invoice came to us in January of 2025.
Mhm.
And it was for work that was done in 2019. I went and disputed saying, really?
Yeah,
And then Jason spent time going through, I think 19, 20, and 21 invoices
mhm.
to see if it was paid. And we came across nothing. So they're saying we owe them for work that was done in 2019 in the amount of
Hang
23,000,
on, slow down, 429,
23,
23,
960.
960.
Is there evidence of the work being done?
Any
Did we
change
have
on
an
that?
invoice? Sorry.
Evidence.
Was there any
One of
change,
them.
was there
Yeah.
any change on that? Okay.
Zero.
Zero.
Jason,
Jason,
Yes.
thank you.
was there evidence that work was done?
Oh, yeah, the work was definitely done.
Okay,
What is the work though? What was,
They migrated us from an old server running a operating system called AIX to a new server running Linux.
We have a
I
record
know.
of an unpaid invoice?
Just the one they sent us in 2025.
Right, not one
Yeah.
that's, so it may be that they just forgot to bill us in 2019 for the work that we
Exactly,
did,
which-
and then they want it 6 years later.
okay. So
I'm gonna start doing that.
no, I'm gonna do this again.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna do this again. And I'm gonna do this song and pony again tomorrow I'm just throwing that out there. And I'm gonna continue riding this horse for a while. I'm gonna make a motion again for $186,586.17 to pay the IT part of it in this 2019 bill that never got paid. And I'm gonna make that motion with the earmark that again, the repercussions of not running government efficiently and effectively have consequences, and I want that to be shown again to budget committee for tomorrow.
So
And I
the
want,
motion
and I want, the motion is to pay those two bills for $186,586.17. And I'm gonna request that we pull it out of reserves again,
out of reserve.
Out of reserves.
Or
unless you have
a general fund.
I don't care where we pull it from, as long as there's an earmark to show the budget committee tomorrow and the people when they come in and they're asking
Okay.
questions, that there's
Is there a
repercussions.
second on the motion? I'll put a second on the motion just so we have discussion.
Sure.
So I don't want to pull it out of reserves.
Okay,
If we do this, it should come out of the general fund. Because then we can repay essentially we're repaying ourselves. If it's pulled out of reserves, we're opening that door for reserves. We have $1.9 million in reserves and a number of accounts. I seriously don't want to touch that.
Percent of reserves in one go.
I'm flexible.
Yeah,
I'm flexible. I think the point that I think that really needs to get driven here is that when you don't balance your checkbook and you're not paying your bills and you're not watching stuff, and excuse my language, shit happens.
Yeah.
And then someone is held responsible for it. So I don't want to see Spillman get shut off. I know what the repercussions of that are, and I'll be honest with you, it's worse than a credit card.
devastating.
It's devastating.
Yeah,
So, and I think that if we know that it's here, we know it's a problem, just address it, move on, it is what it is. And we make the earmark and we show a budget,
Is this-
we fixed it.
So the question is this, we're still in discussion. Is this
Right.
actually the Spillman invoice?
Yes, so this includes,
What's in the invoice? What's in that amount?
Oh, gosh.
oh, so let me explain what that full 186 that
Yep.
Tim is talking about. That includes Blue Mantis. We have 3 invoices for Blue Mantis, one at $30, one at $3,931.20, and we have one at $299.25. We have a users conference prepaid travel, that's $3,285. We have the work order,
Slowly,
sorry,
3,285.
yes. We have a work order from 2019 in the amount of 23,960. We have
That
two,
work orders, there's a specific SOW on that scope of work.
oh, I haven't seen it
Okay,
personally.
all right.
There's 2 flex service bills at $540 each. And then our Spillman, which is $153,551.63. Elon credit card,
we already just paid that though, right?
that motion has already been made,
So we shouldn't include that in this motion.
correct, and Tim did not.
But I think the number he quoted included that, so I wanna.
Nope, it didn't, I
Okay.
did the math real
Alright.
quick.
So, oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
And then information technology exchange, which is an annual rental of IT disposal, that was $450.
Okay.
So on that, I will make one correction, Tim. It's $186,587.08.
Mhm. 87.
Okay.
So 186,587.08.
Sounds good. I'll take the friendly
Your friendly. area.
edit if one of them do it, because one of them have to do that. So
I move we amend the amount in Tim's motion to be 186,587.08.
So just to be clear, the 153,551.63 is Spillman, correct?
153,551.
Mantis.
It's not, it is Spillman.
So $30, $3,091.20, $299.25, 3,285, and then 23,960. I still would like to know what that is.
Mhm.
Jason, can you clarify?
That needs to be changed. That's 39.
Right.
You got it?
Yeah, and it does add up to the number.
It does. Thank you. What is in the $23,960? What's the scope of work on that?
That was migrating us from the old server to the new server. OS.
Old to new?
Yes,
Okay.
but they were no longer supporting AIX.
Oh, so that was the old invoice.
Yeah, that was migrating
Got it,
us
thank
from AIX to Linux and upgrading the Spillman OS and say Spillman version.
So that was an OS migration.
Yes,
Did you work here back then? How long have you worked here?
I started in 2020. That was the first project we did that year.
Okay, great.
I remember when that was done.
Yeah, we were.
It
like a
had to
day.
be done, as Jason said.
Just to clarify too, because we're in discussion here. The reason why too, I'm making this motion again for Spillman is because if we do not pay this bill. And I'm going to encourage it. I hope every single union would come into this office and start grieving. And every single person that no longer has a 911 system would be upset with us.
Hmm.
We're violating almost every single workplace safety by not having Spillman.
So you've edit, the friendly edit was
Probably it was for the amount.
the amount,
That was the edit from Bree, right?
okay,
And then you
And
want to
then-
do a general fund?
the general fund, yes, I don't
I'm
want to
good
take
with
this
it.
out of reserves.
That's fine. But I
Okay.
want it again to be earmarked.
So that's a friendly edit to take it out of the general fund and not the reserves.
Yes, I'm good with that.
Okay, any other discussion? Call a question, all those in favor? Motion carries, and I want to be specific in the motion, it comes out of the general fund, not reserves. Next,
Warrants.
warrants.
That's good to pay our bills, team.
Can you also make a
Thank you.
note of that for tomorrow, Barb? Thank you.
This is the zero
Opioid warrant.
request for opioid.
I'll make a motion that we pass the opioid warrant for the amount of $0.
Second.
I have a first, I have a second, any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, motion carries.
You get a shorter signature. Take too long.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Start doing it like a doctor.
The jail accounts payable for 3/5/26 is 63,922.38. That's 63,922.38. Payroll for 2/28 was 45,871.86. That is 45,871.86. Oh. I'm already calculating.
Yep, okay.
Sorry, password. There we go. The total warrant is 109,794.24. That's 109,794.24.
So we're scratching the 63 that was said.
Nope, we are.
I'll make
Hold on. This is the total for payroll and
Right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the jail warrant for the amount of $109,794.24.
I have a first, I have a second?
Mhm.
I have a second, any discussion? All those in favor, motion carries.
the county accounts payable is 179,157.16. That's 179,157.16. Payroll for 2/28 was 184,751.73. That's 184,751.73. A total of $363,908.89. That is 363,908.89.
Say that amount again.
363.
Yep.
908.89.
908. I'll make a motion that we approve county warrant for $363,908.89.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just for my own education, what's included in that, that's payroll for everybody that isn't jail,
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
and then other.
And then your expenses, so we
Yeah.
have your warrant expenses, which are here,
Mhm.
and then your payroll and that's it.
Okay. Yep.
And I will tell you, just for the record, that that does not include what you just approved for item.
Right. Great.
Thank you.
That's jail, county, opioid, any miscellaneous?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
Just as a part of decorum, before you approach the bench, the chair will ask you to approach the bench next time, just as the quorum. That goes for everybody. Thank you. IT? Thank you, Karen.
Good morning.
Morning, Jason.
I'm gonna flip the order of my two things, if that's okay, if we could do
That's fine.
miscellaneous first. And I'm wondering if we could go into executive session to discuss confidential and security information.
Do we have a number? Do we have a-
Yes, it would be 402.
Well, hang on a second, slow down, slow down. Do that again.
4023, which
402.
includes security related exemptions.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session for security at 402-3.
Have a second?
Yes.
Have a second? Motion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Let's go into executive session. Does everyone need to leave the room, or is this just particular to the commissioners?
Just the commissioners.
Okay, thank
This
you.
one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'll support. No, you do not, trust me, you do not.
I charge people like.
Slides right up there. Does this say recording?
Yep.
Doesn't state it yet.
Yeah, it did when I walked out.
So we are back now in public session, continuing the March 5th, 2026 Waldo County Commissioners Court session. Thank you for returning. Civic Plus, what do you have, Jason?
All right, so up on the screen that I'm sharing, we purchased multiple Civic Plus products. The first one that we're ready to launch at this point is called Next Request, and it's a FOA piece. As far as managing FOA requests. And what I would like to do is just get your okay to actually launch that. And do a press release for our webpage about launching that and going public with that. So what that does is it allows anyone to go out to the webpage and make a public request by clicking on this make request button.
So where is the link to it?
It will be on the webpage. It's not currently on the webpage.
So it'll be on our WordPress.
Yep, and on the new webpage as well.
And on
We're
the-
not ready to go with the new webpage. That will be the third piece probably. They can enter their, and we can't require them to do this, but they can do this. They can enter their information, select what department they want to make the request for, which is optional. If they don't request a department, it will just go to, I set up a new email address, which is foa@waldocountym.gov. It will default to that.
And you are receiving and disseminating emails?
Barb and I are both doing that right now, monitoring it for the time being. They can submit that and then it will just go right to this webpage.
And pull up the departments.
Yep.
So the sheriff's office, that includes jail?
Yep,
Okay, all right. And maybe you need to edit and say, including jail.
Sure, I can do that.
Corrections.
Correction.
Sheriff's office / corrections.
Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, I can do that. And this also allows department heads, if they get a FOA request not online, they can manually put it in the background so we can track it that
So
way
we
as
can
well.
track it. So
Yep.
this relieves some blood, sweat and tears. Work physical labor by you and by the county clerk.
By any department head that gets a
Yeah.
FOA request, yes.
Because right now you and the county clerk are disseminating, trying to get this information?
I don't tend to get them. I think Barb does tend to get, she's
Really?
the main contact for them. Yes. And then what we can also do here is we can, if we get a FOA request for something that, say, for example, is something that we might get a lot of requests for, we can actually make it public and put it out here so people can search through it, so we don't get, if, you know,
Repetitive,
Yeah.
the same question.
yeah, we can mark it as public and somebody can come out here and just search for it or find it out there as well.
So this is actually checking off the box for one of our strategic goals.
Yes, more transparency,
And utilizing technology to make us.
save time, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I love how trackable this is.
Yeah.
It's not relying on, hey, Barb, how many FOA requests have you gotten lately? It's, you know, it's really like, well,
Yeah.
it's in a,
Yeah, we can track
System
time
now.
spent on things, we can do that, we can, if you've. You know, if somebody comes in 6 months from now and asks for something that somebody already asked for, we can go in there and just release it, we don't have to duplicate that effort. You know, some departments are using Excel spreadsheets, some people are just using. You know, it's a one central repository for everything, so.
Any comments from Barb, the county clerk?
No,
on
this is wonderful. I've been following along with some of it as he's gone along. He's been wonderful about communicating, and it will be much easier to track. Currently, I'm tracking a lot.
Tested this internally at least once or twice
Yep.
with somebody?
Yep.
Okay.
Mike at the comm center has put in a couple of requests manually that he's gotten and released them and things like that, so.
Okay,
Does this keep us in compliance with the comm center regarding information when people are asking about accidents
Yes.
and with the Federal Bureau of?
Yep, so I will show you, I did do I have an example out there as a public, a request that we made public. So this actually. I'll show you this one here.
I remember that one.
Yep, so if we open this one up, oops, sorry, I have to go to request number aside. And this will actually allow you to, redact the information as well. If I can- Oh, documents, there we go. So you can see that you can actually redact the information as well.
okay,
Like here, Barb had put in her personal cell number,
Mhm.
so we can actually redact that information
thank you.
right within the program. We can redact, like budget committee members' personal email addresses were here, so we can redact that
Yes.
information as well.
Thank you.
That's all built in, so.
Okay, and then another question I have is, are specific people assigned in each department?
Yes.
And they'll get electronic notification?
Yeah, they'll get notification when a new request comes in.
Okay,
And then I have it set up, it's gonna be a learning process.
sure,
But right now I've got it set up so like certain people in the sheriff's office will get it. And then when they get a request, it will go to, I don't remember exactly who, but we've got work approval levels. So
okay,
when somebody gets one, it goes to somebody else to approve it before it's released publicly,
okay.
just to make sure that all the
there's
information
a
has
check
been
and
redacted.
balance.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then if somebody's on PTO, let's say someone, the person in the sheriff's office that normally handles FOAs.
Yeah, you can put
There's
a,
a backup.
yes, you can put somebody in as your backup contact or as your point of contact person.
Okay, and there's their 5-day alerts, notification alerts, because once you receive a request, does it automatically send another email?
It sends an email saying we've received your request automatically, and then you get email updates saying that this one is due at a certain amount of time, a certain date.
The sender or the receiver? Or
The receiver here.
The receiver.
internal. Yes.
does?
Yep.
Okay, that's great.
It doesn't email the sender automatically because they don't have to put in an email address. If they put in an email address, it will send them notifications as well.
So
But we
our
don't
training, so
require
they
an
know.
email address.
Okay, okay,
By law, we can't require any contact information.
Sure. okay. So you need from the commissioners permission to go live?
I just want to make sure you guys are okay with a go live for it. And then,
One other question related to that, I'm trying to make sure I understand that. So the person who makes the request does not have to provide an email address.
correct.
But if they provide one, they will get some helpful information sent to them.
Yes, they will get it sent to them when it's released. It will.
In there, like, you
Yes.
don't have to provide it, but if you provide it, you'll get updates?
Yes,
Okay.
everything says optional.
Great.
They can create a login so they can log in and check on the statuses of those.
Great.
I believe Maine state law says that, you know, we can't require a form, we can't require any contact information. I think if they wanted to, they could come in and write it on a napkin.
They can still, they don't have, people
No,
don't have to
exactly.
use this, but.
Exactly, it just makes it easier on our
user-friendly.
end.
Track, yeah.
Even just managing the records, if we input it in the background, it just makes it easier for us.
I noticed the statute in there, but is there a hyperlink to the state
There is,
statute?
yeah, I'll double check, but I believe I've hyperlinked out to all the statutes, so
Okay.
you can click on it and check the statute.
So you thought of everything.
No, but I'll try. I'm sure I missed some things, but I tried.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to go live.
So moved.
Have a first, do I have a second? I'll put a
You can
second
vote.
down there for discussion.
You didn't answer the second question.
Which was?
Does this make us in compliance with DOC? When it's regarding employees and inmates?
This allows us to redact any information that we want to. I don't know of any particular DOC requirements.
No.
Because
there are often times where we get stuck with medical bills.
Yep,
So we'll be able to.
you can redact any information as far as any record, electronic record in here, you can redact.
Yeah.
Or if we decide not to release something,
Mm-hmm.
you can put in a reason why it was not
So
released.
there's a way for us to give a response without giving a response.
Yes, you
Okay.
can say this is not releasable because
Mhm.
personal health care information or whatnot.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other discussion? You ready to call the question? Let's call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries.
And then do you want a press release on the website saying that this is public, or do you just want a link up at the top?
Press release.
Yeah.
Most
Does one of you want to draft that, or do you want me to draft something and send it off to you for approval?
You can draft.
Okay.
Thank you for volunteering.
Sweet.
Okay,
You know?
I will work on that and get that sent off to you.
Anything else, Jason?
That's it.
Thank you. County clerk?
Well, wait, before you leave, Jason, we didn't talk about.
Oh, you want to talk about that miscellaneous?
We're gonna bring up your miscellaneous.
I thought that's gonna be under the.
All right, so we're back to the IT section, IT.
So there is a breakdown. For flex pricing.
And just to clarify, Flex is the new name for Spillman. That is
Right.
So just in case anybody asks.
Okay.
So go ahead and present, Jason.
So this is a breakdown, so the county pays $153,551.63 this year for Motorola Flex / Spillman.
Right.
I was asked previously to break down what it would cost, what each municipality or agency's cost is for that. So I had presented you with a breakdown of Belfast, Islesboro, Searsport, Stockton Springs, the comm center, and the sheriff's office. And the sheriff's office includes corrections for that. So if we were to break that out, the county share would be $115,163.72. And the outside agency's share would be $38,387.91.
So. Because this is being presented.
Mhm.
I would like to make a motion.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion that we present this to budget committee.
Yep.
So that in their meeting, they can understand the reasons why we had to go pay for Spillman today.
Yep.
And they have a breakdown of an alternative way to pay for this.
Yes.
Now, I will say, so that's my motion. Because right now, we're stuck here paying for this out of general funds. And this is an
Yes.
alternative.
Yep.
And we made a motion earlier about paying that instead of paying it out of reserves. So this is an avenue to pay for. I'm gonna make a motion that we present this to budget committee tomorrow.
Do we have a second?
I'll second for discussion. I don't agree with it though. My hope is that we can stay focused on appropriations with the budget committee and not with sources of revenue. Because that, like, as information, this is great, but in terms of a productive conversation and getting a reasonable budget passed, I think that this opens up a whole new path of discussion that will make the process drag on a lot longer.
I can see where your point of view is coming from. However, if we had a budget that was already approved, we wouldn't be having the discussion. The reason why we don't have a budget that's already approved is because there's not funding for the budget. This is an alternative source, and I don't agree with doing this for a different complete reason. But I do think that it's something that should get at least presented. My reason why I would be against it is this. At one point in time, a long time ago, when I was a kid, some of our police departments have their own individual dispatching. And, well, it's a little bit easier when everything is all in one, especially when it comes to booking people.
Mhm.
These are services that the county provides and that towns do not. We had a conversation from a public comment about 4 weeks ago about the cost of having deputies patrol instead of having police departments patrol. Well, when you have a police department patrol, there is added cost. Now, I'll throw this out there. So that's one reason why I would be opposed to doing this. Now I'm going to say why I should be in favor of it. I don't feel that the people of my district should have to be paying an extra cost for towns that are not in my district for services, which they are when these other towns are utilizing these services. So that's
I want to put a different perspective on that one.
Please.
You know, we can make that argument about a lot of different things, and one is water and sewer districts
Yes.
within each town. Not every consumer is on the water and sewer districts within each town, which within the counties.
Mhm.
To me, it's a county service. You know, how far down the road do we bill for county services or not is the question. I think there ought to be some other avenues that we ought to explore about regionalization for services that would affect a lot of towns within the county
That's right.
because the towns can't afford it.
Right.
And case in point, you know, I know Islesboro has a halftime. He's paid halftime to be a deputy out there. In the case of Stockton Springs, they have a constable. I know in Searsport, they have 5 deputies out there for police officers. I get a little corrected sometimes on that language. So, but I think, you know, we could go down this road for a number of services that the county provides that maybe one town doesn't utilize a lot or not. And, you know, I think at some point, you know, the services are needed and required. And we ought to really back up on the microscope and say, look, it should be a county service. So that's just my 2 cents on
I
it.
agree with you, but if it's
Yeah.
a county service, that means we're responsible for protecting the information that's
Correct.
happening in this.
Correct,
Which means we have to have a way to pay for it, which by the way, the
exactly.
Bayside's not on here.
Bayside no longer has a police
Do
officer.
they get-
They haven't had one for a couple years. They cannot find a police officer that will work there.
But if they did find one, are they gonna utilize Spillman still?
They used to use it
They
only in the
used to use it.
summertime,
It
I
was
think,
summertime and yeah,
and it was like a couple days a week, I think it was, so.
Well, still, that's something.
No, I
that
agree.
Should be on here. Because-
Yeah, I-
The side of that is that the county is receiving fewer calls for a deputy. Towns that are utilizing this service because they have their own law enforcement available. Now Bayside, if you have an issue. in
There's still
Bayside, you're calling for
some
a
cost that
deputy.
we have to provide, that is
It
paying
is.
for, because we have to have the capacity to do it.
This is I think this is all really great discussion for the proactive commissioners after the budget has been passed
Yep.
to be thinking about and talking
So,
about.
But
these
you have
approaches.
to look at the other end of that, so I hear you, but I don't agree with you. So deputies do not enforce town ordinances. A lot of these towns in the city go with the police department because they want ordinances to be enforced.
Mhm.
The deputies do not enforce ordinances.
Point taken.
That's so,
So
they're the ones that are forcing.
would you
the
take
issue
a
of
friendly edit on this motion?
Absolutely.
So the friendly edit, that this is informational only to the
That's
budget
right.
committee. Only,
Right.
is that we're not, there's no expectation for them
No.
to react to it. This is really to leave it back to the commissioners.
Yes.
So it's information only, and that this is a future, the commissioners will review it in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
If we don't present it and we act on it later on, people will say that we weren't being transparent.
Okay. Any other discussion? Want to call the question? All those in favor with the friendly edit of providing this information to the budget committee? Motion carries. Anything else, Jason?
That's it for me.
Hey, thank you. All right, now we're back to county clerk. What do we have, Bob?
I would just need to talk a little bit with you about some invoices. I hope that's okay.
Oh, sure.
I'm not quite sure where to pay for them from. One would be in your office, there is a toner shortage and I need to order some. Unfortunately, it is not cheap.
Mhm.
And the total bill would be almost $500, $499.69.
So if we did not have toner, you couldn't cross forwards.
I would do it on the Toshiba, but that is a shared machine and it would just drain another
Says
We're kicking the can around.
$499 a month.
$499.69. So,
69.
and that was a quote that I asked if they could hang on to that for today. I was not promised that, but I'm hoping it's still valid.
Mhm.
And this is a company that Carrie has found that is a lot less expensive, but still the right stuff for the machines that we have. So we are getting the best price. I did a quick research.
I
So-
appreciate that due
Yeah.
diligence.
Yeah,
Competitive pricing, found a lower vendor.
if you're all right with that coming out of the commissioner's office supply line, that's where I would.
In 2025,
We are held to the 2025 budget at some point, and we would have the funds for that, cause
We would have the funds
Yeah.
for
we
it.
do.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and utilize the $499.69 for toner out of the 2025 commissioner's budget, earmarked for budget committee. Again, as another note, as a consequence to not passing a budget, we are stuck with an unforeseen expense.
I have a first, do I have a second? I'll second. All right. 3 seconds, sure is quicker. All right, discussion? Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Motion carries.
okay, I just wanna make sure I'm not confused. When those votes are made, I get very confused. We're obviously in 2026.
We are.
We're still on the
That-
2025 budget.
Well, we're held within the constraints.
Constraints on the 25 budget, correct.
So it's not actual money from 2025.
That's correct.
Correct.
Was
Correct.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just as long as you understand that and I understand that. Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Same note.
Okay, all right, we also have an invoice from the Maine County Commissioners Association. It's the risk pool.
Yep.
Coverage at $138,000. Okay, let me say it again. $138,000.
Yep.
$100.40. This
When's
is
it?
separated out into two pieces. The jail amount is $50,000.
Yep.
$50,633.67.
Okay.
The county's portion, they don't talk about that, we just have to do the math.
So
It's
what's
88 grand or something.
what's the,
Thankfully, we can pay it in 2 installments, and so I wanna ask your opinion on that.
Okay.
In times past, when we've had funds, we've often paid it just outright and got it done. Well, we're already a little past the date, but I think they'll be forgiving. The March amount would be $112,783.57.
112.
Yep,
Seven.
$783.57. That larger chunk would be paid in March.
that's the first installment?
That would be, yeah, and it's a larger, it's not divided in half or anything.
Yeah, I was hoping for half.
I know, not how it goes. The second amount would be payable on July 1st.
Yep.
$25,316.83.
25316.83.
0.83.
I move we pay the first installment.
Do I have a second?
Only with discussion. Second.
Second with discussion.
What was last year's practice?
Good question. I'd have to go back and look at how we
Did we
invoiced.
pull it out of our commissioner's budget or did we pull it from a reserve?
No.
No, we didn't pull it
This
from
is
reserve.
budgeted in the commissioner's operating budget and in the jail
Did we-
operating budget.
Did the amount stay the same from last year to this year?
No, they're always different.
They're always different.
It's based on,
What's the
Based on
increase?
the. Oh, goodness.
association
History.
fees was only 2%. They reduced it. I know that. I'm not sure the increase on the risk pool.
Sure. you go.
Do you know, Carrie?
Can
off the top.
I get the amount of what the increase is from 25 to 26?
Yep. Yes, I can do that.
Or do you have it right there with you?
I do not.
Okay,
I didn't.
I just want to clarify, so that first March installment is for county and jail. Jail is typically paid in the first installment, which is stated on that invoice. And then whatever the difference is the county portion. And the invoice has always just been paid, that first installment has always been paid in March.
We just paid for the whole, we've been paying for the whole amount.
Nope, and then in July, I pay for the second installment, June or July, I pay the second installment, which is roughly like $25,000-$30,000, I
Yep.
believe.
Yeah. 25.
And that is the county portion, that actually is not a split between jail and,
Okay, thank you for explaining that. I didn't used to handle these bills.
It's
Prior
okay,
to,
Laura, thank you.
so.
but let me go, I'll go grab you that
Yeah,
number and
grab
tell you
that
the
number.
increase.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah.
So you wanna wait for the number?
I would. Because if it's already in our budgeted amount, the increase won't be. So I would like to have the, if we were to pay for it, I would wanna have the increase earmarked again for budget committee for tomorrow.
Understood.
I think we need a sheet for the budget committee that's stuff Tim wants you to know.
Oh,
That's actually a good idea.
Maybe there's a more professional title it could be given, but.
Information from the commissioners.
you're doing a great job, Tracy. Might have to hire you on as a consultant to deal with this one company that I'm dealing with, the plowing. Man. I think that you would rip out my hair if you saw some of the practices. It's bad.
I kind of act as an unpaid consultant to all of my friends, so I'm familiar with this.
Oh, side note. Layden took my soap. She thought it would be great to play with her Barbies in the shower. So your soap, I had to spend 30 minutes getting it out of Barbie's hair last weekend. Okay. It was miserable, but they had great hair.
Did she have, yeah, I looked at her afterward.
Oh, shoot.
Mark, can I see that invoice real quick?
Yes. Alright, you're gonna read this one. Like you to go over the next bill so you can be thinking about it or no?
Yeah, let's move on while we're waiting on.
Belfast Police Department, an officer has come 3 times to help out with crowd control.
Mhm.
The total bill is $1,434.60.
1,000.
$1,434.60.
Is there net 30? Or is there a discount if we pay quicker?
I see no discount, but yes, payment due within 30 days. We received this on the 4th. That breaks out to $478.20 per,
Or
for
78,
the
20,
4-hour detail.
But this is for 3 different times.
Correct.
two,
Okay.
2 or 3?
Just
3.
Three.
Was that, I know one of them was a public hearing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
Were the other 2
Commissioners.
commissioners' courts?
Yes.
Okay. And what's, why is it that we have a police officer from Belfast here rather than a sheriff?
Like
Again,
conflict of interest.
again, because of your police departments having ordinances. Crowd control, you would have, for one, you'd have jurisdiction issues,
Mhm.
and you're also enforcing a policy or an ordinance, you know.
Yep, okay.
Good question, though. That's a very good question. So I would say let's hold off on that bill. I think we got a window here on that one. Yeah,
Okay.
what else do you have?
That is the last piece.
Was the last piece, and Claire's walking back in. Do we have the numbers?
Yes, it is a 10.3% increase. The value is $12,984.31. That's 12984.31.
So 12,000, Sorry,
984,
984,
31.
31. So there's an increase of about $13,000 from
Yeah.
last year. to this year.
10%.
So in theory, we should have a budgeted amount for that amount except for that increase.
Is that in the budget?
So if we were to make this first payment, hopefully budget committee could pass a budget before the second payment's due. So I'm gonna make a motion that we pay the first
Contingent?
installment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion to pass the first installment. Or
I made that motion.
you made that motion?
Yeah.
That's right. So then, so I'm gonna do a friendly edit then, if that's all right. with
Lovely.
you. I'll friendly edit your motion on the first installment with it being earmarked, the difference in the repercussions, again. For budget committee, not passing a budget to be presented to them tomorrow, the increase.
So we have a friendly on there. I would do a second friendly.
Yep. Go
The
ahead.
second friendly is to ensure that it's in that the accurate, the current number is in the budget.
Yeah.
That's right.
Any more discussion? And that this will be funded from
General fund.
general fund.
It has to be.
Has to be. Okay. Was that in the original motion? Or no?
The general fund part.
So that's a third friendly edit. Any more discussion? So you got the first, second, and third friendlies?
Mhm.
Okay. You ready for the unfriendly motion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Anything else, Barb? Is that
No,
it?
that's all, thank you.
All right, Commissioners, old business, I'm gonna hold that, pause it for a minute. Let's go to any commissioners want to bring up any new business?
Yes.
Okay, what have you got?
I would like Jason to come in for this. I would like to talk about public participation via Zoom for
Sure.
public hearings and what possibilities there are, so that if we have another budget public hearing, that my hope is that we could have a way for folks to, especially folks from Islesboro, to participate without having to come to a Friday night meeting.
Yes, we
You
can do
want
that.
to sit at the table?
No.
So are we able to do, is it something, I understand, I'm sure it can be unwieldy because it's via Zoom, but if someone were to, can someone register ahead of time to
Yes.
provide public comment via Zoom?
Yeah, so we currently use the Zoom webinar product and we can just require registration before. I think would be the best way to handle it. If we
Okay.
want to do that, yes.
So I guess then I would have a request, if the commissioners agree that this is something that we should do, that we would have that as soon as we have a date for the next public hearing for the budget, which I know the budget committee wants to do another public hearing. That as soon as we have that, that we're able to get that information out very quickly so that people can register.
So the next public hearing is on the 27th at 6 p.m. Is that correct? It hasn't gone to the newspapers yet?
It has not gone to.
Okay, so it's the 27th, 6 p.m. upstairs in the based on statute, probate court.
And that's a Friday night, which is gonna be the same issue that the
Yeah.
folks from Islesboro were frustrated with the last
Right.
time we had a public hearing.
Yep.
So.
Couple of concerns. One, I totally agree with Islesboro because of geography. You know, they've got issues and ferries and renting a boat to come across is $450 from my understanding, and just if it's beyond the regular ferry hours.
And it's really not a fun time of year to be going back
No.
to the island at 9 o'clock at night on a boat.
I spent a decade and a half out to sea. I know sea chops. So my question is this going to be limited to county residents? How do we control this? You know, it's a public hearing. And I have concerns, one you know, I'd like it to stop it before midnight, you know? That's my concerns. Barb, do you have other
I was just
issues?
gonna, I pulled up the current policy that you redid in January, just so you know what that paragraph.
Thank you.
I'll read you number 5. It says remote participation / input generally will only be allowed by the county commissioners, comma, county department heads, comma, and county clerk, parentheses, or when absent, the county clerk's designee. If public input is allowed at any meeting where remote participation is allowed, The county will provide notice of public input being allowed and an effective means of communication between the members of the body and the public. It is the responsibility of the public to possess their own technological means to tie into remote proceedings, either telephonically or by video conferencing. I think in a nutshell, you would have to put out the information you're talking about, that it will be allowed for this meeting during this time period. And any other stipulations you'd need to add, I think we would have to publish that. Make that known. So does that sound?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know via the statute, because I'm not that familiar with it, but I don't think you can limit it to like locality.
I don't think so, and we don't verify people in a public hearing, there's a
No.
sign-in sheet, but somebody could come to a public hearing and say, I'm Joe Smith from Benedicta and I've been following this,
Yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
interested and here's what I have to
Yeah.
say. We
I
don't,
don't think we can legally.
that's not super productive if we end up with a lot of that, and so
So-
it opens us up to potentially
You
more.
know,
Exactly.
having gone to a number of town meetings and not being a resident of the town. I was always, they have to put a motion on the table to allow me to speak. And it has to be approved by the residents that are at that particular meeting. That's the reason I brought that up. You know, and then the other concerns I have is that says telephonic or. So are we gonna provide a telephone number, or is it gonna be through Zoom? The technical pieces of this gets a little cloudy for me. Preferably if somebody's speaking, I would like to see them, you know, on the Zoom, just like we are. But if that's not the statute, then that's fine. You know, it's the technological piece of this that's, you know, we could have. I don't think the website would crash because that happened during COVID. There was a number of crashes on Zoom, but now the capacity is there. But it's the management of this, I think, is the concern.
I'm gonna go one step further with your concern. What happens? Because now we have a vacant seat in District 1 for Budget Committee. That Islesboro was to fill it. And they can't come and meet all of their meetings.
Point taken.
They have a right to zoom in.
Mhm.
They have a right to participate no different than any other town.
You're exactly right.
I think and this is probably a side point and not the important point that he's trying to make, but. Technically, first that seat needs to be offered to Northport because the vacancy
I
can't.
hear you. I understand.
What do you know?
You're right. And I know this because of the kind of unity with Payne Dye.
Sure.
So I know this. Not Payne, what you got in place, sorry. And I had to fill it in.
I don't
But
think anybody's
again-
itching to get involved right now.
You're missing a prime opportunity because chaos is when you lose.
And it is up to the budget committee to fill it, and it's up to them to be done, and what, we don't know what they're doing in that regard.
I think,
So,
but for more
Yeah.
of the sake of. I like the idea of we just have to present that it is a meeting that is open to the public through VIA Zoom. We have that control. We just have to make it announced.
Can I bring up one point of order,
Sure.
for lack of a better term? Is I think this is a great idea, but I also think. I'm not sure it's a decision this board can make. I
That's
think
right.
it's a decision the budget committee has to
Right.
make because
It
it's
is their
legally
meeting.
their meeting.
so.
I think I think
Point taken.
it's great for this board to suggest it to the budget committee.
Yeah.
And I think
I'd
it's
rather
a
see
great
just
discussion to
recommend
have.
stuff.
Yeah. I think it's a great discussion to have as far as can we technically do it? Can we do it? And that sort of stuff. But I think at the end, they have to make this choice.
So
Because
policy,
it's their
it's
meeting.
their hearing, yeah.
Yeah.
It is their hearing, but we're held responsible.
But they are running the meeting legally.
But we're the one on the other end for the technology part of it.
Yeah, we're running the
So
technology. side of it,
technically,
but-
can we do this, Jason? right
Yes,
now?
yeah.
There wouldn't be an issue, there wouldn't be a volume.
No, because we had
issue.
Tammy join once remotely, I think, via Zoom and.
Are we gonna have to have a separate phone line, or does it it's gonna be web-based?
Yeah, it's gonna be web-based and they can,
Managing their participation.
Yeah.
While you're running the Zoom.
Yeah, that's
portions of
fine,
the
that's fine,
meeting.
yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
So, I would like to present this to the budget committee tomorrow on the agenda. that,
Put it as an agenda item for the budget
that
committee.
we recommend or that we offer this as an option.
Yep.
And put
can-
it at the
can we-
end of their agenda.
Yep, once, once we've figured out what's happening next, but, that we have the technology, that we support this as a way to allow more participation, and there are a lot of things that could, you could have, if we had
Well-
30 people show up on Zoom who registered for this, and, 25 of them really shouldn't have, then
that's
let's
fine.
burn that bridge when we get there,
Oh,
I'd rather that we move forward with greater access, and if it becomes some
Yep.
kind of issue, then we regroup and figure out how to make it
Yeah.
Okay,
productive from
Right.
there.
And thinking about all of the things that you've asked to be brought to the budget committee, I think we need to.
And that's one of her lists, not mine. Let's just make that clear.
We probably need to have someone needs to have a conversation with the chair before I,
I'll call Bob, I was just that sure.
thanks, appreciate
Thank
that.
you, Barb.
Just give me the short list.
I think that's it for new business, unless we need an official motion or something, but.
No,
I
that's
don't
it
think
for
so.
now.
Okay, great.
So that's it for new business. All right, let's move down to HR report. Tracy?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do not have any step increases, but I do have a notice that is relevant, especially
All right,
when
you
you're
come-
discussing budget committee. We had a deputy in the sheriff's office put in his resignation. The payout for that will be about $4,000, slightly less than $4,000. Please keep in mind, our severance is currently overdrawn,
Do you
but
have an exact amount?
it is $3,968.
$3,968.
Can't remember the exact cents.
$68. Do we have a, we need an exact amount.
Okay, I can look it up. I've got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have
Look
that?
at
Yeah,
that.
I do. Ha.
well, it's like she knows the bridges. that
Thank
are
you.
burned.
Sorry, $3,948
40,
and 57 cents.
okay.
Save $20 in quest for accuracy.
Yep.
And how many cents?
57.
5-7.
5-7. Okay, this is for severance,
Correct.
and how much over are we on severance?
I believe $55,000.
$55,000. So I'm gonna make a motion that we pay out $3,948.57 out of severance, with the earmark of being over in severance by $55,000 as a repercussion of not passing a budget, and for this to be earmarked and presented to budget committee tomorrow. And then we pay it out of general fund.
Thank you.
Oh, no friendly edits, Kevin?
No, that was it.
So is that a second?
I'll give you the second on that
Oh,
one.
great job.
So, any more discussion on it? Is a second on the table? Call a question. All those in favor? Motion carries.
You can add that one to my list, Barb.
And I have reached out to this employee for our exit interview. So he has not yet
Okay.
responded with a time.
Thank you.
I do have an executive session.
Okay,
Okay, this one's gonna be based on,
This is based on, I believe it should actually say.
Four oh
personnel.
five, 6A.
we're going into executive session for MRSA Title I, subchapter 405-6A. So if
Second.
everyone exit, thank you for the second. If you'd exit and take us off Zoom. And place the noise machine on. I think you need to step out to this one. Yeah, thank you.
Another hope. Yeah.
no, I'm moving that.
No, I can pick up speed. Trust me. So we are now out of executive session. I'll put a motion on the table.
Wait.
As soon as everybody sits down.
Can type the motion.
When you're ready, Bob.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so I'll put a motion on the table that the commissioners will meet as a follow-up after the next April 2nd meeting. Commissioners meeting that we follow up to meet with AFS CME, the union. As a follow-up right after the commissioners meeting, for arbitration. Do you have a second?
Second.
From the edit?
Friendly edit.
Wait, wait, you seconded it, so we're in discussion now. Now friendly edit?
Friendly edit.
And again, I want this to be presented to budget committee as a result for not passing a budget
And we're going to arbitration.
that we're now going to arbitration. And I want not only it to be presented, I want it to be cited that at the last budget meetings, it was told to them that if we get below a certain number, we were gonna have to go back to them again for more money to do legal.
Any more discussion? Call the question, all in favor, motion carries. All right, now we need to go back into executive session. I hate to do this again under title, MRSA Title 1, subchapter 405, section D, which, discussion of labor contracts. So we're going into executive session. I have a second. All those in favor, motion carries. We're going back into executive session. Sorry.
Sorry, who was the second?
I will.
Seven.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
So,
Oh, you can stay. Barb, you can stay. Let's get Carrie in here.
Carrie has the, I'll go get her.
Okay.
And has to, let's come around the corner and give. Thank you. So this is the Waldo County's Commissioners meeting for today, March 5th, back in session, in executive session, and we're going to the topic of budget. So Carrie is at the table. Walk us through the request from the Budget Committee.
So, what I have done, the budget committee asked to see, actual versus budget. So I revamped that summary sheet that they've been getting because it does appear that they like that summary sheet versus all the detail. So I have added an approved budget for 24, actual expense for 24, approved budget for 25, and actual expense for 25. Compared it to all of the changes, that have been made for the proposed budget for 2026, which we're calling version 6 at this point. I've gone back through every single department head. I have made departments. I have made any adjustments that have been developed between that Tuesday meeting and today. There's been no change in the EMA office. There's been no change with the district attorney, no change in the county commissioners, human resources, finance office, facilities, information technology, registry of deeds. There was a $5,000 change in the probate court, which brought it down to $330,000 even. There was a change of $75,000 in the sheriff's line on top of the, I think it was like 21,005. So I think he's had about.
Was this based on that last,
This is based on the last.
cuts? It
Cuts.
was 58,000, I remember.
Yes. So with those changes, it brings the sheriff's budget down to $2,707,525. We did reduce the comm center by $1,500. The special appropriations is still 0. Audit is still at 26 per the recommendation of the commissioners.
So for the record, let me go back on the sheriff's budget reduction is based on February 5th, 2026. In 1075 and 1050 departments, there was a reduction of $53,054. That was the number that I've got here on his. So I just want to make sure it's in the record. Thank you.
And then another reduction of $75,000.
And then on top of that, another 75,000.
There is a $1,500 reduction out of the comm center, no change in special appropriations, no change in audit. County does not carry any long-term debt. Interest stated $130,000. UMO is a statutory requirement. Their request was $50,764. We did not change employee benefits. It's pretty tight as it is. So no changes in there. No changes with water and soil, or record preservations, and reserves still remain the same request. Your total county budget, request is $11,347,673.14. The jail budget is, and I'd like to take a moment to go over this, is based off the project the program elimination that was presented. We have reduced,
When you say program elimination, define that.
this is a vision that the sheriff had, where it
Okay.
would be eliminating the VOA program, or the reentry program
And
altogether.
or both, correct?
Correct.
All right, so that's a budget committee decision to reduce the budget. That's what they have to make a decision on.
May I ask a
Okay.
question?
Sure, go ahead.
When you say a vision the sheriff had, this is him creating hypothetical scenarios to get to a number that the budget committee is comfortable with.
That is
Not a
correct.
vision he has as a department head of what he wants to do with his department.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like,
Yes.
clarification.
So, with this exercise, the impact that would have on this budget, you would lose the VOA contract, which was budgeted at 291,000. This budget has been reduced by that 291. The budget has been reduced by personnel full-time. However, overtime was increased by 88,000. So the salary, while it's less, there's more in overtime that we would have to pay. The community liaison program would also have an impact on this. And that was a reduction of 95,000. We reduced, we would have to end our MOU with restorative justice, which is $42,000. In addition to that, I increased the inmate medical. I was a little confused on what to do here. I increased it by the 100,000 because at the last meeting you talked about not using 100,000 for opioid. So I increased that to the 400,000 it was originally requested at. We also, I also decreased the capital outlay, the $75,000 that you originally put back in. So I feel like this program elimination column that you are looking at has been stripped of anything that was added based on your recommendation at the last meeting, talking to the budget committee.
Can you revisit, you said that was the 75,000 that was potentially a kitchen renovation
Yes.
at the holding facility / reentry? Okay,
Yes,
and so that's been taken out of this.
I did.
Okay, we put that back in because of OSHA,
OSHA.
It's still, yeah, but okay.
And
The kitchen can just fall apart.
I will publicly say that the jail budget got very complicated and you know, what do you present at this point? Do you
Yeah.
wanna see bare bones? Do you wanna add things in? So I just kind of said, well, I'll just strip it down
Yeah.
to bare bones.
Everything that was put on the table,
Will take off.
yeah. Mhm.
Keep in mind too, whether you have a reentry center up there or not, we are obligated to feed people that are incarcerated for 72 hours.
Hey.
And when you get rid of the OA or the reentry center, you now have to pay somebody to go down there and make food.
Point
Where right now, the reentry center
It's part of the program.
is part of the program and they are the ones that are preparing meals.
Mhm.
We are utilizing residents by teaching them and training them. We're utilizing their services too.
They
Now
made a
that
really,
They are supervised.
they've made some good meals for the budget committee.
Well, and that's,
We had all day meetings.
So we would have to contract that service out and then we lose the biennium revenue out of the gate. So we're back in the hole again.
You are.
May I ask a question,
Sure.
just for clarification? So what the vision is, we're gutting the reentry center and turning to just a 72-hour hold? Is that what the vision is?
my understanding is
That's a
that
proposed
this is a proposed reduction.
I know, no, I know that, but I'm just saying.
My
that's what it's
vision.
coming down to?
The idea that is being worked on to present to the budget committee would be that the reentry program would end. And I believe the sheriff would then look at changing over to God help me if I hope I'm not saying this wrong, turn into a minimum security detention facility.
Required by statute.
Okay, so it would
Thank
be required by statute and it would be listed as a 72-hour holding facility. Because we do not meet state statute, and that building cannot be a minimum secure correctional facility. We cannot make it one, it cannot be a pre-release
We have
program,
those issues.
nothing else can go into that building. You still have to heat it, you still have to pay for electricity.
So when Belfast PD, it says for PD arrests someone,
Yes,
where are they going to take them?
they're gonna take them up to 72-hour hold.
Yeah, but I thought you said you couldn't do it.
There's 2 facilities in that building.
Right.
You have your
Oh, I know.
72, and then you have your reentry. The proposed here is to get rid of the reentry part of it.
Oh, but still,
They would keep a 72-hour holding, which is required by the state statute.
I was confused.
Nope, it's okay. Most people would be. You have to keep in mind, there's 2 facilities being operated out of that one building.
That's accurate.
So we would lose revenue by getting rid of the re-entry. We would lose revenue of about each year of $109,500.
Well, you'd actually be incurring an expense by getting rid of it, because now you have to contract out services to not only do cleaning, to do food prep, you now have to. Perfect, that's right.
Something that was
That's right.
that I think was an important piece of what the sheriff outlined in here was the grant funding risk from
Yes.
removing these programs. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I have not talked to the sheriff about this. I have just read what you have in front of you.
Yeah,
And so the grant funding risk is we could potentially lose up to $4 million in grant funding.
that's what we've collected in grant funding since 2018, and so then we're no longer competitive. We're no longer, yeah, that was one of the ones, was the
Would affect
Matt?
that.
recovery
Yeah.
coaching, post-release case management. The community liaison program has been funded with grants at certain times. Local recovery center development, so all of those things
Gone.
gone. Great, and again, the thing that I clarified earlier about the vision, I don't want someone to pull this up and think that this group is talking about getting rid of the reentry center. I don't think anyone in this room thinks that this is a good idea. We're talking about what are the really hard decisions that would need to be made to get to the number that the budget committee has asked for. The fat has already been pulled out. Now we're talking about eliminating programs,
Correct.
and we're talking about eliminating positions that there isn't really a strong financial benefit for eliminating those positions, because we have to provide the coverage for the
Correct.
county. And so if we eliminate those positions, then we're paying people overtime to
Yes.
provide that coverage. And we already have way below the national average in terms of
Staffing
staffing
duration.
for per capita and per mileage or acreage or whatever
Yeah.
of the county.
I agree with that statement. I also do feel like that there's things that we can be doing more efficiently. Just saying. But I have no intention or I have no inclination that it's a good idea to shut down these programs. But I do think that we should reevaluate how we do some of the systems up there and make it more efficient for us, but not get rid of.
So the other wrench into this is the state funding we get. Trendy talked about it real quickly, on last Tuesday's meeting at the budget committee, that $788 that was proposed was biennium. And, while we've been presenting the $788,000 all along, that's not a true statement. And that actually had to be cut in half to $394,446.50. So that also impacts that bottom.
Because the state does a biennial budget
Yes.
and then that's the
And they're
amount.
not funding based on their own statute and mandates, the appropriate level of funding at 20 million across the state for all of the jails. Actually, the number should be not 20 million, but $29 million with a 4% COLA in there. And they're not doing it. And I can tell you this appropriations, we're not getting any money. That's going through at the last stop appropriations meeting. So the biennium, that's correct, Carrie. It's we get it in segments, and it's not, you can't include that total figure in one year's budget. So
We have been including that total figure, so like for folks
Yeah.
who are paying attention to this or for the budget committee, you know, I have all of these historical documents of various budgets that we've talked about since August. That figure, which it's okay, these are errors that happen, now we know that it's a biennial figure, but all those percentages that we talked about along the way were off by that much. Because we didn't know that that was a biennial figure, so.
Correct.
We don't have an apples to apples scenario here with our percentages, we have an apples to oranges one, but at least we have a correct orange.
Correct.
Correct. That's correct.
Sorry to seem lighthearted.
So it's,
Just-
you know, based on some ideas, some concepts. We'll push it forward to the budget committee, and it's up to the budget committee to decide whether these programs exist or not. If they want to get to a single digit, the fat's already gone out of the budget. You know, if they want to get to a single digit, then they have to talk about program elimination. I don't know how many times we've gone back to department heads, I've lost track. It's just, you know, I keep going back to it. There's 4 departments, 1 person departments, and the rest of them are at, I would say, less than optimum position to operate. Deeds, probate, EMA, facilities, I think their FTEs are there. They want to get to a single digit. I think we're underestimating expenses, and I go back to Commissioner Parker's sentiment. This, you know, the budget committee passed what was it, a 37% increase?
Yep.
They actually passed that.
They did. It went to a public hearing.
Went to a public hearing and tabled it. And so, you know, we've put on 2 options here, 14 and 17%, version 4, version 6A, if you want to call it that. I still think going below, hearing what we're hearing on benefits now, going below 17% is suicide.
I have a question about process or statute regarding this. So when I joined the budget committee, we were first given a spreadsheet that said department requested, 1 column, commissioner recommended. And then there was a column for the budget committee that was the budget committee recommendation. We went around and around with that several times.
Right.
And then December 12th or 13th, there was a hearing on the budget committee's final recommendation. When we had our meeting again on January 27th, my last one as a budget committee member, and we were throwing around, we wanted the commissioners to come back with a new proposal. At one point, I suggested that the budget committee go back and see what we can find. Because that's what we had been doing all along.
It was the process, and that's where
The
we're at in the
process.
process.
So we had, the budget committee had some responsibility all along where we were making those cuts. And then something changed on January 27th when I thought like, oh, well, we'll keep doing that. And instead, the budget committee, you know, was, I guess I was alone in the thought that we would do the work of seeing what other fat could be cut out, said, kick it back to the commissioners. It's not our budget, it's their budget. Well, I don't feel like it's our budget because our budget is a 17% increase, which is not fun. It is.
Well,
It is not fun.
It is now.
It's 60, right, it's $63 a year for me is my portion of Waldo County taxes on my items.
$80.42 for me.
So I don't find it an insurmountable thing for my personal budget, but I'm sure there are people for whom that is a great problem. But I'm just a little confused because we have to present a budget to them. Well, I'm not gonna present a budget that I'm not gonna vote that we present them a budget that shows getting rid of the reentry center and that to your point, it's suicide to go under. So I mean that we're not going to be able to pay our bills, that we're going to overspend. I want Waldo County to be responsible with its money and to pay its bills, to know what they're going to be, to plan for them and to pay for them. And so how do we do that? Because nobody at this desk believes in this 10%,
I'm
under 10% budget.
I'm so happy that you said this. So I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion. And I'm gonna cite one of our last meetings, I would like for us to go ahead and present back to budget committee our original versions of 4 and 5. And give them the version 6 of what their outcomes are. And with that motion, I would like to have a breakdown based on evaluation for each one of the towns for their percentage of this budget. Because if we're talking about fiscal responsibility, each person should know what their part of that pie is.
Say that again, can you condense a little bit?
Sure, I'm making a motion to present back to the budget committee our versions 4 and 5, and now 6, right? Because this is 6 now, basically, with Jason's cuts. That's my understanding.
Proposed.
Proposed.
I don't want to accept those cuts.
This is the
Yeah.
response to them kicking it back to us, which is version 6. So there's 4, 5, and now the response back to their 10%, which is 6. I'm posing the motion is to give it back to them. But I do think that they need to have the breakdown of each one of those numbers broken down so that each town knows what cut of the pie they're getting.
You want to put a second on the table?
Yeah.
Motion fails.
Perfect.
Just, and for
That's
continued,
noted.
yeah,
Perfect.
just, but for continued discussion. The reason I don't want to put version 6 on the table. You're talking, is the percentage right, 14.53%? Is that a
Right now, yes.
I would like to stick to the two budgets, versions 4 and 5.
But those are now inaccurate because of the biennial figure.
That is correct.
Which means that they're gonna go down.
No, they're
No,
gonna
they're
go
gonna go
up,
up.
They'll go up.
because we had
You have to take-
78.
you have to
Well,
take
then,
that
well,
jail
then
number
Jason's
down.
proposed is gonna go down because we're gonna lose the
Yeah.
state funding anyways. So it's not really a 10% that he's gone to, it's gonna be even lower.
My question was, when we give a budget to the budget committee or 2 budgets as we did last time, are we essentially putting our stamp of approval on that budget? My question is about statute and process, not what to do.
It's a recommendation, but it's not a vote.
Because I wouldn't recommend this. Yes, Barb.
I
Sorry.
I understand your point, and I think we would have to go back to the statutes, which I have been looking at, which basically state very clearly that it is the budget committee who
Yes.
does any additional adjusting, be that up or down.
That's right.
So
This is where you have to-
And as a
So
budget
then we don't
committee,
need the motion then.
and as a budget committee, they're not recommending this. They recommended to us a number.
Mhm.
So if I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, I will. They didn't recommend this. This is stuff that's a response. Which is why I propose that we give them the response to what their cuts are. They asked for a number. We're not proposing this. This is a response to it.
I would prefer that today that we recommend a budget to the committee that we actually believe in. One, and that we give them all of this additional information, and that we have an open column. Like we had before with the budget committee recommendation. And if they want to incorporate these things. Sorry, Carrie.
Well, you've definitely turned off that back porch light. They're not letting you back on the committee. So,
But I was, the last time I was there on the committee, I was outnumbered. I just, I think
So-
she's on the realistic place and.
so let's go back to what we want to push for. What do we want to push for? Is it version 4? Is it version 5? We know we have to split the biennium number in half, which is the $732,466. That number is still accurate?
She's putting in numbers the whole time you've been talking. We've been-
Thank you.
I have not been paying attention
We
to
love
the
you,
words you've been saying.
So give her a moment, I'm still recalculating. GPS recalculating.
You're really good
If
at
I
it.
go back to the expense side of this,
It's been 20 minutes.
I know.
So is Matt Curtis available now?
He probably would be if you'd like it. He said he.
You
would
might
be
as well bring him down.
I'll say
You might as well bring him
no.
down. I'd like to make a motion that we go into a recess while we wait for Matt to go to the bath.
Second on recess, all in favor. Let's go to recess. This is Waldo County Commissioners, reconvening from the recess for, March 5th, 2026. And the topic is the 2026 budget discussion. So who wants to start? You want to start, get us back up to speed real quick?
So you had asked, you kind of talked about what percentages and you'd like to look at the 17% and the 30 and the 13% that was originally presented. But we have new information that we had to look at that biennium state revenue, so I have redone those comparison worksheets to see what that number is with half of that state revenue. And I've also I have a version 6 to present you, which talks about the program elimination. Okay. I will,
The other part,
Questions, go ahead.
the other part of that, so Matt, I made a motion
Mhm.
that we present back to budget committee. The 13 version 4 or whatever it was, and the 17 presented by me. And then the new response, not a proposal, but a response if we were to do cuts to get down to the 10%. In that motion, I asked for a breakdown of all the towns, it got killed. So we asked if Jason, but Jason's not here, if someone could come down and just talk about the cuts.
The sheriff. Is that you?
Sheriff Jason,
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Okay,
I got you, I'm following.
we have a number of Jasons.
Yep, sure.
Well, we're gonna be technical, it's high sheriff.
Yeah.
Do you have Carrie, do you have a new percentage then for what the 13 and the 17 were?
I do. Could you go grab the version 6 off? I'm gonna hand you, you'll just need to put version 4 on your paper that I'm gonna hand out.
Okay.
But this is based off the revised from the 13.64%.
Yeah,
Version 4, it is now 16.8%.
Version 4A,
there we go.
been entered into evidence.
I were trying to recall the major differences between 4 and 5.
5 major cliffs.
Right, 4 had
Right.
clips that we were pulling from the last, we were paying for the first quarter of jail housing
Right,
with 2025 money.
right, there was gonna be major cutting into the benefits,
Mm-hmm.
into the jail stuff.
Yeah.
And basically, we were trying to get it down. We got down to like a 13 point something.
Yeah.
With the chances of maybe having to jump into a reserve or other stuff.
Yeah, there was 125 from reserve
That's
in
right.
the jail budget. Okay, I recall now.
So now that we're talking about all those other things. So your version 5 includes those same cuts. But your percentage remains, so the same thing that you're seeing in 13.
So version 5, the jail was, and I'm gonna round up or down, $611,766. And in version 4, it was $786,766. So that was the difference between 4 and 5 on jail. Employee benefits was the other big one.
Mhm.
That was 1.5 million versus 1.2 million. Difference, and so those were the big, just looking at the summary sheets.
Just
Those were the two big ones.
I'm sorry, I have too many numbers going on.
That's okay, Gary.
Um,
But I was just trying to get clarity between version 4 and version 5 versus, and now we've got version 4A.
too many questions going on in my head
And
now.
in version 4A, just looking at the jail. Yeah, the jail dropped from 4A, it's back up to almost 3.5 million versus 3.1 million, I'm rounding.
And that's due to the 394 instead of 7
Correct.
something.
Yeah. And then the health benefits, let's go there. Version 4A. Is now dropped. Let me see, version 4 and version 4A, 3,919,700 is the same. On version 5. It is $4,191,700.26. So 4 and 4A reduced it considerably, probably close to $200,000 versus version 5. And I think that's very soft ice. Let's put it that way.
Alright, can we
Go
stay
ahead.
on 4 just for a second?
4,
So 4, I gave you
Mhm.
a percentage of 14.53, and that was with all of the cliffs. And that is presenting jail without. Oh, that is presenting jail with. Oh, no, never mind. I have too many variations going on. I need to fight. Okay, so version 4 is jail presented using opioid funds and putting half of the biennium amount in there.
Mhm.
That gives you the 16.8.
right, 4 or 4A?
That's 4.
4A.
4A,
4A
correct.
now is
So that's
using
plus 100.
opioids to offset inmate medical.
Yeah.
Leaving employee benefits at 3,919,000. I'm also still reduced the comm center by 1,500. I also included a employee RIF in the sheriffs in 14A
Mhm.
and reduced the probate by 5,000.
Got
So
it.
some slight adjustments there.
So that was, say it again. Reductions, 1 or 2?
We're talking
1? 2?
1, 2,
2,
3 reductions.
3. And then you move to 15,
15 from what?
com,
I removed 1,500 from comm.
okay,
It was from here, it was.
So it's not the,
and then you split, oh, you moved 100 back in, so it's plus
I
100.
did not put on this version 4A, it does not. There are too many versions going on, sorry. Version 4A includes opioid money reduced from the inmate medical.
Understood,
$1,500 from the comm center,
understood,
$75,000 from the sheriffs.
understood,
$5,000 from the probate court.
understood.
And that's it. Employee benefits did not change.
No change.
so you do.
So there's no delta on employee benefits. Got it.
It was not recommended.
Because those employees also were not carrying benefits.
I don't know about the rest of the commissioners, but I'm done on employee benefits. I don't think there should be any more cuts.
Yeah. I'm in,
Agree?
I'm in agreement with that.
Are you there on that one? Or do you think there, no more cuts, but there should be more?
You-
Add on?
Are you talking about cuts or also fringe benefits?
No, we're just talking benefits,
I hear you, but there's a lot of benefits that are allotted to
Medical.
employees.
medical.
If you're talking about medical benefits,
We're
sure.
talking a stop loss.
If we're talking about employee medical benefits, fine.
Okay, all right, so let's get that one off the table.
Okay,
It's too tight. It's, you're gonna overspend it.
I know
If
we're
we
gonna
go
go, I
further.
know we're gonna blow through it.
and
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we are eliminating a position. And we're not affecting employee benefits because,
The employee did not carry benefits.
Right.
so under version 4A, do you want me to put back in that? Do you want me to put that $75,000 back in that? Because that's,
The 75,000
because we did not do that on the jail side.
That's the medical benefits. I have no problem doing that, because anything we gain on employee benefit, I personally think we're gonna go through that money.
I agree.
Put it back in.
Okay, so then that changes your jail percentage. Sorry, that changes your bottom percentage on 14,
4A.
4A. To 16. To 16,670. Did you have a question?
So you supposed to follow along with your exam. So you use that. This should make it. Jail one, so.
This one, the jail had no eliminated.
Oh, 17.
positions out of it. The only one that I needed.
But that's
to
with
correct
clicks.
Was that one. So this version here,
But maybe that's just where we're at.
I'll go ahead.
This is
Carry on. I'll
A
ask my
progress,
questions.
not perfection year.
so this
In
version
terms of
here
practices.
is this budget. Less the revenue, okay,
So that's four.
Who's using the
You guys are correct.
4A.
Okay.
I think at this point.
So 4A is
Every
at
100K, every 100,000 moves us
a percent.
a percent. Okay, so let's go back to the sheriff's potential ideas.
Okay.
If we eliminated, if they decide to eliminate VOA. VOA, that's 333, restorative justice, that's 333,000. So call that 330, the other elimination of the liaison position, call that 400. I don't think reduction in workforce is we're gonna lose ground on that.
Mhm.
So that $400,000 drops it down to 12.67%. If I'm doing the math correctly.
So I'm gonna skip right to version
And
6.
then we lose the revenue. So
This is version 6.
version 6,
Yes.
6 or 6A.
Whatever you want to call it.
This is based on the
This is-
8-page recommendation, not recommendations, but hypotheticals from the sheriff.
Yes. So this is reducing.
So go ahead.
Okay. So this is reducing the sheriffs. This is reducing the jail budget based on all of the recommendations the sheriff gave.
I'm gonna just say right now, I don't necessarily know if I'd call that a recommendation.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And I just wanna be really clear.
Yeah,
That is certainly not,
these are scenarios, these are
were-
exercises, they're hypotheticals.
these were exercises conducted at the request of. I just,
Thank you. I appreciate that because I try to explain that it's not me saying that we're gonna recommend a proposed. This is a response.
and I don't wanna get into
To-
semantics
to-
either, Tim, but I'm sorry.
it's a response to budget committee saying that they want to be at 10%. This is not, yeah, well, it's not us saying that this is what we want to do as a county. This is what happens when you go below a certain number. That nobody's proposing it. This is just a response. You had your two proposals, the 17 and the 13, and this is what happens if you choose to go with your 10. It's not anybody saying these are the consequences. Fair enough. Thank you.
So we've met one of the requests. Well, that's one of the requests. The second request was approved budget to actual expense. We've got that done for 24-25. And you've got it for opioid, non-opioid program elimination. That's on that one spreadsheet. I'm not sure if you'd have to update these numbers a little bit or tweak them, so I'm not sure that's the final one to go before the budget committee, but it's, let's say, 95% there. It's up to the budget committee now. I just I think all the expenses are on the table, you know, and they want reductions. We've done reductions. I keep going back to Com Center had a union seat there. We froze it, defunded. Deeds had a position, part-time position. We froze it, defunded. We cut back in facilities on an FTE from 32 to 20 hours. We cut back a position in EMA from 27 to 24, and 9 hours of those are grant funded. Did I miss any other positions? We eliminated staff accountant. We eliminated the proposed position for IT. Just look at the numbers, just even the proposal from the sheriff looking at benchmarking, the benchmark stats, you know, for the territory that we have to cover versus the amount of deputies that we have in the workforce. Losing some ability for competitive grants if there's any program elimination. I don't see any wiggle room. This is it. You know, unless I am totally missing something, I don't see it.
So in terms of what we present, if we went with 4A, as we've just discussed, it would be 16.67% increase. That is under the limit that we've been told, the 18 something, the cap. It does include a couple of cliffs that we have concerns about, but I think we may need to just eat it on that in order to stay under the cap. It does include the 100,000s of opioid money, but we all agree that that's a good use of it, and we don't have the framework yet for the recommendations from the committee on how to use the opioid money, but I mean, it does pass muster as a use for those funds. I think this might, it's like one of those scenarios where nobody's happy, and so you've come to the right place.
I feel that we're playing with I've played with numbers too much.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at this in many different ways. And I'm done looking at numbers. I don't feel that what we're presenting to the budget committee tomorrow is what they're going to be happy with. I think that they want a harder look at what more than 1 or 2 eliminated positions would be. And this is just my perception and takeaway from last Tuesday's meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't feel that they're going to be happy with the revenue that we're saying we have. I think they want a deeper look at what our
The revenue falls under the purview of the commissioners, not the budget committee, correct?
It is. And at the end of the day, that revenue is taken off.
Okay, so
It is under the purview of the
the
commissioners.
commissioners, not the budget committee, yeah.
They have the right to look at that,
Mm-hmm.
but the commissioners have final say of that revenue and how the reserves are used.
Mm-hmm.
And projected revenue is used to offset the budget
This,
at the end of the day
Mhm.
before it goes to the towns.
so this 16.67% increase in 4A that we're looking at right now is not what will be assessed to the towns. It will be a smaller increase than that because of the offsets from revenue.
That is correct.
So What if we take that number and apply it towards, we know what the state evaluation's out. We take that number, to go back to Tim, what Tim requested earlier, what if we take that number and apply it towards the town so that the committee members understand, they can, I think in their mind, they can relate it to their town a lot better to see what the actual increase is. They can play with ChatGPT all day long and figure out what's personally, how it's gonna affect them, which I did. And it's $80.42, you know, for the year. Cause I don't see anything else. If to go back to Matt, just looking at the schedules, if there was reduction in workforce.
Mhm.
You gotta make it up somehow, some way.
You do. These are your options. In the jail right now. You eliminate that position just where we're at right now, you just signed up for $23,000 more.
Yeah.
Because we're at the bare minimum there.
Mhm.
We are mandated to have that coverage as the minimum staff coverage. Staff package, we can run that, and it doesn't matter if we have the reentry or not.
Mhm.
Because we can run
It
that.
doesn't matter.
You're not gonna eliminate any staff by doing it. If we're still gonna have a 72-hour hold, we still need that same staff. So you're not gonna save anything on that staff package. I'm just telling you, that would be. It makes zero sense, just fiscally and rationally. I'll tell you on the
East side,
on the patrol side. It was, I sent the message down to Tracy. I don't remember the number. It was like you saved a couple thousand, you know, it was like a few $1,000. It was, you know, it was like three grand. I'll tell you this. I've never once in my career today, actually, I was really hoping today was gonna be a surprise party. It's my 30th anniversary working for the county today.
Thank
This
you.
is exactly how I wanted to, I'm not, nope, that's not why I did,
Yeah.
I'm teasing you guys a little bit, but. I can tell you, not once in 30 years have I walked into a town office or walked into a store and never been told, I wish you guys were less present.
Right.
You know, boy, you're never, you're always where I don't wanna see you. You know, we did the statistics, we did the side by sides. If you look at like, you know, 1 per 1,200,
Mhm.
it's, you know, that's excluding Belfast, obviously. They're running at nearly, you know, I don't even think they're at 500 per.
Mhm.
so you're driving over 500,000 miles a year, right?
Kissing six. It's like, you know, and at the end of the day, okay, yeah, you wanna, so you still, I'm just telling you. The sheriff's office does not stand for eliminating that position.
Yeah.
I don't feel the community does. I can, I get the position that you're in with,
Sure.
you know, as far as the taxpayer. We can get as many, you know, guarantee. You recommend that, there'll be we can find just as many people to come in with loud voices.
Yeah.
You know,
Good.
you start talking about like you know, getting rid of the reentry. But anyway, you asked specifically about patrol. It's
So we're not, $2,000 or $3,000 is not gaining
no,
ground.
it's not, and you can't even, you know, and you're like, well, what about a cruiser? I've heard plenty about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm still gonna drive those miles. It's just, I'm gonna wear out a car quicker.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna need, you know, if you want me to continue with that level of service. I'm not gonna come in here and recommend that we reduce services. And that's the only way that you might save a little bit there. You're gonna have to say, I want less out of my police force, my rural law enforcement.
Okay,
And I see that as a non-winner.
so this version that I'm looking at, Carrie, is that the 16.08%?
That one should be 16.67%, and that's adding back. I'm gonna print this off. I'm
Okay,
gonna give it to you.
we have the copies in front of us.
I'm getting,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
So the argument that I made to them, is I slightly disagree with, being honest. I feel like that if you were to get rid of reentry, you would have to go higher on. Because
Absolutely.
you would have to go higher on
it's
cleaning and
right.
janitorial people, because a lot of our reentry guys are doing services that have replaced paid positions.
Mhm.
I agree 100% with you.
So like, so I kind of look at it a little bit differently too, like. we're not paying people because we train our residents to go out into the community and in the community to provide meetings, restorative justice circles. I mean, all kinds of stuff. We have taught people to not only rehabilitate their lives, but in a way, they replace some of our functions, to keep our facility running. Now, I do kind of think, is there a way for us to maybe look at? Like, are we able to retain? And maybe do the reentry programming better ourselves? You know, like, do we need a contract?
Instead of VOA.
Instead of VOA? Is there a way for us to do that? Is there
I see
another,
what you're saying.
you know what I mean? Not get rid of that program. Is there a way for us to do these things better or cheaper? Or is it just?
Like the community liaison that we have, but
Exactly.
And we've talked about that, over the course of time. Now look at that number and we,
Right.
how many staff do we have, how many full-time staff do we have access to?
Right.
And how many, different programs and grant revenue streams do we have through that partnership? And what could I hire? How many employees could I hire in that specialty field
Mhm.
with those connections that are also gonna, have the clout that a VOA does to be able to network that way?
And that's true too.
So it's like, I hear your point, because that was when, earlier on, that was one of my, like, why do we have to pay them to do this? Why can't we do this? That's how I am. I get it.
Okay.
And I just think when you're talking bang for your buck, we're just not gonna be able to.
Okay. And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay, so as commissioners, we're delivering the actuals to budget. That was an additional homework request. They asked us to take another pass of the budget. I think we're kind of all saying the same thing in a little bit different way. Which budget do you want to approve? And to get this off the table, I think we've done what we can.
I'm gonna make it clear, I've written down too. I am not gonna submit a budget unless we have a breakdown to give to the towns so that their taxpayers know what.
That's
portions
fine.
they're
I
buying.
agree with that too.
Okay.
I think we're at that point.
Okay, because I will not.
We gotta
support-
decide which one it is, though.
I
fair.
I think, well, first off,
And I.
it's a scenario. It needs to be clear on this document that it's a scenario. It's
Right.
not,
We'll do
you
a
know,
summary sheet.
a disclaimer.
It's an estimate. It's
Uh-huh.
not an actual, and I show respect to all the people that have put in the work. And I hear the other end of that question and that point. I understand it's not an actual number and it may go up or down.
Because we're gonna offset by revenue, so this 16.67 is actually high, so it'll be higher. Because we don't know what the revenue offsets will be necessarily,
So your
correct?
projected revenue on the county side is 732,000.
Oh, so we can subtract that and incorporate that?
I can, but are you allowing the budget committee to approve that?
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
I mean, the percentage is going to drop, which by providing the breakdown
Revenues
that
by
Kim
statute
wants.
and purview, that's the way it stays.
It's the idea is to provide an illustration for how this will impact taxpayers from each town, and so I think for that to be as close to true as possible, it needs to be based on
For the
our
illustration,
budget for the illustration.
for the illustration.
We should,
To go
we
to
should,
Tim's.
Tim's multiple motions that, about this
I have
have
no
always been individual motions that, or I think it's best as an individual motion, not as part of what
Correct.
we're proposing.
I tried to make an individual
Yeah.
motion and I got shut down.
So Tim,
So-
I have no problem putting
Try
for the
again.
illustration for the town, so they can see once that revenue is taken out, what their estimate is gonna be for that letter. I have no problem with that. And it has to be estimation on the watermark.
You have to be.
You know, but the budget committee is not approving the revenue. Period. That's a commissioners under statute. That's us. I'm not giving it up.
I didn't say anything about revenue. I just think that the taxpayer should know what they're getting hit with. Because you bring that out, I'm sorry, but this conversation completely changes when I find out that my county bill is $30.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you wanna know something? I'm gonna go one step further. $30 to me is the difference between keeping somebody up at that program, getting the help that they need, or having a deputy come to my house, or having, God forbid, and I'm not gonna use his name across the street because him and I have crosses, something happens to him and I need an ambulance to get there and I don't have a spillman to do it.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry, I still think that that needs to happen, and once that conversation happens, there's nobody on that budget committee that can have an argument.
So let's go to version. Which percentage version are we going with? Is it the one that she gave us at 16.67? Are we going back to our original at 17.36?
Which would need to go up,
We can't, because we'd have to go up, it's not the real,
That's right.
it's not the real number.
probably.
We've
we
only,
can-
we've only done one real one.
Okay, so
4A, 16.67% increase. I think that we should provide a column that's empty for the budget committee, as we did in every other budget committee meeting before our first public hearing, so that if they want to make further reductions, they have a place to do it.
So would you be okay if we did that on the budget versus actuals?
Sure.
And then just put a budget committee column there?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you are like a column creator. Like every day we come up with a new column. We're gonna call you Carrie Column. Like,
You know, I agree, but I think that the real apology should be to the county employees. Okay, because if I was sitting in the department heads or any of the employee seats, watching all of this would make me feel very insecure about my future here. And this is a county that has always been proud of its clout about keeping experienced people. So I'm sorry to them. I'm sorry to the people that work for us. This should be done with. It's time to move on.
You have some nervous people. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah. And I am sorry to them.
So let's go back, I keep looking at the clock and I think we're kind of all there. How about two motions? One motion to go with the 16.67% to present to the budget committee. Then the second motion going to the estimate on the towns on what you're required. You can make both motions then, but I think make it two and very clear.
I will make it easy. I make a motion that whatever budget we give to them, there is an estimated state evaluation breakdown for each of the towns for their portion of the county budget.
Okay, that's the motion.
That's the motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Motion's unanimous.
I make a motion that we send to budget committee version 4A at the amount of 16.67 for a grand total. That's my motion, to send that budget to budget committee for tomorrow.
We have a second.
second,
Any more discussion? Call the question.
Harry,
All in,
Harry has discussion.
Barry?
I'm sorry, I'm going back to what the budget committee said, and I just want to make it for the
I
record.
have another motion coming.
Bob wanted, the motion was 14 million,
No,
Yes.
Oh, and
and we're giving.
I have my, I know, and I have my next motion
14.9.
coming. I have my next motion coming.
We're in discussion. All right,
I'm
call the
good.
question. All those in favor?
We understand that.
Okay.
Okay, now I have a
Let's
third
talk about the
motion.
14
Third
million.
motion.
So my
Are you
motion.
Are you keeping up with this part?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
My motion, as a result of not coming to the budget committee's 14 million, is that we present to them the repercussions. And that's we have, because it's either gonna be stated by Jason if he wants to, or us. But this is the real repercussions of not
Okay,
having a budget.
we have a motion. To have a second?
No, because it's unclear to me. Present them the repercussions is not a very specific.
Okay, so it's.
No criticism there. It's just
Okay.
like, I get what you're after and I agree
Scenarios?
with what you're after.
I don't, well, she didn't.
Motion failed. So, all right,
Okay.
so restate.
You know what? I'm not even gonna do a motion, because here's the thing. Even if there's no motion, there's no seconded. At the end of the day, they asked you for something. You don't give it to them. It's already been stated by me in those budget meetings what's gonna happen. So you know what? That's fine.
You're good?
I'm good.
You're good?
And when I get asked, I'm gonna just say, I try to make motions. I spoke about it at the budget meetings. It didn't make it here.
Sound like you're,
Or you can't make motions at the budget meetings,
Commissioners meeting.
commissioner meetings. Yeah.
what is the outcome you're hoping for from that motion? Because I don't think anyone here disagrees with you, but you sound like somewhat upset with the outcome of it.
I think that feelings really don't matter, but I'm gonna try to answer your question.
Mhm.
So I do not feel that it is fair to have Jason have to read this thing about what he thinks the repercussions are gonna be. I think that we've already told people, you don't pass this budget, we're gonna have to fire people or lay off people. The repercussions of this is if you read this, there's no juice to squeeze out of that beat. Actually, we're gonna pay more money. So it's either Jason's gonna read it or we're gonna read it. But someone's gonna read it. Someone's gonna tell them what the repercussions.
You mean the specific, so
It's
you're
not-
talking about the
He
hypothetical scenarios presented to us by the sheriff. You're talking about including that in what's presented tomorrow.
It's not just the sheriff. It's not the sheriff's responsibility to sit down and say to the budget committee, okay, I'm gonna have to let go of this employee from this department and this department and this department and this department. Yeah, Jason's talking about his department. Jason should not have to get up there. He can get up there and he can answer questions. If he wants to get up there, then he can get up there and he
I'm
can.
trying to understand, when you say repercussions, you're particularly referring to this document. Because I would like to be able to support your motion.
I hear you. I'm done talking.
Okay.
I'm done talking because I'm not even finishing what I'm saying, so.
Is there any other motions?
Nah, I'm good.
Bree, is there any other motions?
Matt has a question.
I'd like to think for a minute.
Matt?
Matt, go ahead.
I was able to get the sheriff via Zoom. If you had anything specific you wanted to direct at him, I don't know where your IT policy stands at the point, but I wanted to let you know that. The only other comment I would make, just in the spirit of clarity, I think, well, we all have our lanes, and the revenue is certainly yours. I think my perception of participating in many budget committees for many years, people are seeking that transparency and that clarity. And even if you even provide an estimate, if you don't provide some sort of an estimate.
Oh, we do.
No, I'm just saying, then it can come across, we all know people have the appearance, well, what the heck are they gonna do with that?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
that's why, but I agree with guys that it should be presented as an estimate, not an actual, because you don't know what it's gonna be. I'm done, but
Thank
sheriff's
you.
there. if you want.
Sheriff, I'm gonna give you some time here to give you some to talk about your proposed revisions and what your thoughts are.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I provided the document that you're talking about, or the information in that document, due to the request of the budget committee to understand what larger cuts could be possibly made within our budget. I agree with Tim's assessment that that is not our recommendation. That is simply information that says this is what these cuts are. I do differ from Tim's position as regarding my getting up there and talking about what these cuts actually mean. As a matter of fact, I expressed to Commissioner Kelly the other day my frustration with, obviously we sat down, or I sat down, I think 3 or 4 times with the budget committee. When they were reviewing the budget originally, we went line by line. I answered questions from the budget committee members. I provided data on previous spending on each line, back some of them as far as 2016, for almost 10 years, to justify why we had certain money in each line. And then once we went to public hearing, every meeting since then has been a completely different format. And that dialogue between at least myself and the budget committee has ended. But yet we still hear from them that they want these major cuts. Personally, if they want these major cuts, if they want to lay off a patrolman, if they want to lay off a correctional officer, if they want to eliminate the reentry center, if they want to get rid of my co-responder, I want the ability to stand up there and have a conversation with them that people hear what that actually means in loss of services, in loss of, and they also really want the budget committee to choose from that list of things. If they say, no, we are going to reduce this down, I want them to reduce that. I want them to say in a meeting what they're going to reduce so that we can let the public know prior to a public hearing what is going to get cut and approved at that public hearing. I don't want that conversation to take place at a public hearing where nobody has an idea what's going to happen, and then they approve the budget, and then anybody that wants to speak in favor of retaining deputies or retaining correctional staff or not closing the reentry center to not have the opportunity to speak. So that's my feelings. I think Carrie's right. I think if you present a 16% budget, you're going to get pushback. And part of my concern is that pushback is the budget committee just saying 12 million, figure it out. And then nobody in the public is going to have the opportunity to weigh in on what that actually means for reductions in services or personnel.
I agree with the sheriff, everything you said.
So the reason why we disagree, and I'm gonna throw this out there, if we allow the sheriff to get up there and speak about this, then I expect you to allow every single department head to as well.
Sure.
Sure.
Because that's where I was going with it, is that we're telling them the repercussions. I hear you, but at one point you did, okay? And that's my point, is that if we let him get up there, and I don't wanna pick on any one department head, because I don't want them to be like, oh, I wasn't ready. But, you know, somebody else should be able to get up there and say, these are the repercussions of me losing too.
Mhm.
That's where the difference is. That was the main point of where I was trying to get at.
And Tim, I would say to that I completely understand that, and I gave some thought and consideration to that. But as I've expressed before, the reason that I attend every one of these meetings is, as an elected official, and obviously the person in charge of operations for probably the largest percentage of the county budget, I feel like an obligation to speak. And I feel like my position as an elected official is a slightly different than, say, a department head who, like in facilities, who's just strictly employee. Now, whether the budget committee or the public sees it that way, or even the commissioners, I don't know, but I certainly see myself and my responsibility to be there and speak on behalf of my staff is a little different. And quite honestly, the budget committee has been very clear in the last few meetings, whenever they've talked about substantial reductions in this budget and the reduction of personnel, they look at me sitting in that corner, because they recognize that department, my portion of it, where they want to make cuts. So I think I'm in a slightly different position than several of the other department heads. But
I hear your point, but we have other department heads that are elected officials. And if you do it for one, you need to do it for everybody, and everybody should have the opportunity to defend their budget. If they don't want to, fine, but they should be allowed that opportunity too.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any other comments or motions before we adjourn?
I just want to say thank you to both Matt and Jason for showing up here on short notice to talk about these things. It's really important, and I am grateful for the very clear illustration of what could be done and what the repercussions of doing them are. And I think that our job is to defend this at this point, because you can want all you want a specific number, but there's nowhere to go that isn't to his point about being an elected official, there's nowhere to go that doesn't fly in the face of every single person in this county that voted for Sheriff Trundy's vision of what county law enforcement looks like, Just the people want a reentry center. They want, they want the co-responder. They want these things.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.